Hey YouTube, Jason here with DayTradingFearless. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the description. So as always, let's jump right into it. So today's video is going to be about how to use the option chain with a Thinkorswim. Okay, so if you go to the trade tab, okay, all products, type in what stock you want, Apple. So we'll kind of just walk down through all these and kind of help you guys understand what they are, how to use them, and all that. So right here we have last price, net change, bid, ask, size, volume, open, high and low for the day. If we click this little drop down menu, it gives us the last size, the yield, PE, if there's a dividend, the frequency, the ex-dividend date that you got to own it by, 52-week high and low, and the shares, and then the beta. Okay, just click that to make it disappear. Right here, trade grid. So this is actually kind of cool because there's a little drop down menu right here, so I can make a whole bunch of them if I want. But you could type in certain stocks like AAPL, right? You have AAPL, so maybe you want to have multiple charts, right? Different time frames, a 1 minute, a 15 minute, and then what I have here is I actually have 6 of them, two cells, two. So if you look here, I could just bring these up, and I mean, I can literally do everything directly from here, right? If I want to, I could type in AAPL. I could put a different chart on. If I want, I could link up option chains, anything I want. So here, let me show you kind of a cool, let's do, I'm trying to think what I wanted to do. So let's say maybe you want a 1 minute chart, right? With certain things, you can have a chart like that. You can have multiple charts on here. So it's kind of really cool the way you're able to kind of change everything and have everything shown however you want. So again, that's just this little tab up here. So, and then if you only want 2 of them, just sit here and go 2, and you'll go like that. The reason I personally do 6, okay, or even 4, is it gives me more room, so I can bring this down and then bring these guys down like this, right? And so now what this will do is it gives me bigger charts, right? And then if I want the option change. So that's one way of kind of playing around with it. Next, we have our option chain, okay? Filter, if you want to do any type of filters, right here, days to expiration. If you want the spread, this is probably the most important thing. If you want it to show verticals, right? So if I open, okay, if I just want to see the single, if I want to see calendar spreads, diagonals, anything like that, if I want to do iron condors, we'll say, right, it'll actually build it for me. And then here, what I have is I just leave it on my main one, right? I'll be honest with you, don't confuse yourself and make it too difficult. With the Greeks and all that, with options, but just keep it simple, right? The only ones you should really care about are the delta and then the theta. But I like to see the bid ask, open interest, volume, delta, and then Theo price. Now, Theo price, you could go into any of these boxes and change them. Right? So if I want intrinsic value, I could change it. But watch right here. Right in this area, if I change this to Theo price, it has to be on Theo price, then what it does is it brings up a new box. When I drop down that box, I could change the date. So let's look at these options, right? But let's go 3 days to next Tuesday, right? You could see that these options right now are 72 by 101, right? But if I change the date and then let's say the stock goes up $1, okay, so I could adjust the stock price to $1, okay, and then I can even adjust the volatility, but let's actually move this to next Thursday, okay. It'll tell me, even though I'm buying with a, here, let's go back to the single, you can really see it. So let's say I buy the 119 calls for 255 today, right? Well, if I go and I look at these calls, and you're probably going to see this video in a couple weeks, or a couple weeks back from this day. So, because I'm going to release this video in November. But what you'll see is it'll change what those options were. So even though the stock goes up $1, I'm actually still losing money because it's only worth $1.82. That's what my Theo price is. It's my theoretical price, right? And a lot of times it's just the mid price between this and this, because watch, if I reset all this, it's just giving me the mid price. So 49 to 55 is 52.5, but it just shows defaults to 52. So that's also another way to look at the Theo, is also the mid price. It right here under strikes, if you want to change, right, go 12 strikes if you want to do all of them, or if you want to just customize it, you could type in, hey, only show me 25 up and down. Now, here's a tip for you guys if you're using Thinkorswim, but you're really not using the option chain that much. I always like to leave it on 4 because it pulls or draws the least amount of data, and a lot of times if your platform lags, like in speed, and you guys have this on all, and you might have like SPY or something that has a ton of option, there's so much data that's trying to get through that if you actually change this to 4, I think you'll naturally see your system speed up a lot quicker. So that's how all this works. Over here you have the expiration date, right, 23rd of October, the year, right, 20 or 21, 22, even go out to 23, how many days are left. If they're weeklies or monthlies, easy way is weeklies are going to be in yellow, monthly options or quarterlies are going to be in white. Over here is your implied volatility for that week, okay? IV, I've done videos on IV rank, which is a little different, but the easiest way to kind of look at these is see how it's 43, 51, 51, then 48. Usually there's earnings, right? It's usually kind of letting you know, hey, when you see a big spike or a higher number, is usually there's earnings going on during that time. So it's like right here, this is 47, but 48. But here, there's something going on, right? Maybe an event that Apple has, or they have their earnings coming up. And that's really a telltale of, hey, or these options is implied volatility jacked up kind of early or anything like that. So hopefully that helps. And then down below, we have today's option statistics. And this is where you could see your IV rank. Again, I've done a video on showing IV rank. You could kind of see the same thing in here. You could see the IV high, low, right, 101, 0.196. Current IV percentile is 35. So options are fairly cheap relative. So you'd probably want to be a buyer of calls, not a seller of puts when the IV rank is below 50. And then it tells you how many calls, how many puts have gone off, things like that. So it's really a lot of information if you're kind of really big on option data. Then you have your option time in sales, right? So you could see how many have gone off, like the biggest orders. You had 15,000, right? Quantity at 450, right? 440 by 445. and you could see what the delta was, the IV and the price and all that. So sometimes this, if you want to track big orders, it's a good way to see it. And then finally, product depth is just kind of a app showing the call implied volatility, where it's been, where it's going, what it might potentially do, things like that. Personally, this is way too much for me. It's just way too much information, but it's good to keep everything simple. And then I'll kind of show you guys, if you, let's go out to November, right? And let's drop this to 8. Let's say I'm bullish on the stock. I think it's going to go high. If I want to just click on the ask, okay? If I click here on the ask, right here, you'll see it brings up our order entry, right? Single, buy, if I want 2 contracts, more, less, anything like that. The Apple expiration, I could change my expiration if I want. I could change the strike here, or I could change calls or puts, right? If I want to do that. And then this is the price. I can manipulate the price. And then this is also just the, Okay, I'm back here. Sorry, my phone was going off. So, like I said, this is where you can lock in the price, right? So if I want this, I can lock it, but then I can also just unlock it and it'll default back to whatever the current price is during market hours. If you want a limit order, stop market, anything like that, a day, and then the best exchange, right? Believe it or not, this is another tip. Is if you ever, so most people leave it on best, but there's a lot of times where you'll be on best and you're not getting a fill because you're trying to get like the mid price, like this 535 or even 540, right? 530. You're trying to save maybe an extra nickel or something. If you change it to like the CBOE, and believe it or not, a lot of times it'll trigger, it'll fire off. So maybe just play around if you're, if it's not as liquid, because they'll just kind of look at you, hey, get him off the books, right? Because he's messing with the spread, and let's get back in line or whatever, right? So that's the way the market makers think, and you'll actually see it where you won't get filled at best, but if you change it to CBOE or the Philly exchange, it'll actually change. And then if you click on delete, it'll delete the order, confirm and send. It'll come up, it'll tell you everything, right? Buy 1 Apple, your break even, max profit, max loss, costs to do the trade, your buying power results, right? Day trading results, buying power, things like that. So, and then if you want to take it, just confirm and send. And that's it. So now let's say you want to do like a iron condor, right? Well, you think prices can go sideways for next month or something. Normally you want to be selling iron condors. Well, this is where we could do an iron condor, but maybe we want to bring this to the 115, 120, right? And here, actually, let's do this. Let's do the, so this is going to be the lower. So let's say 115, 117.50, and then we'll do the 120 to the 122.50, right? So we could kind of create what we want to give it a $2.17 credit, right? We could kind of manipulate, and this is what our break-evens would be, 115 to 122, right? So if you want to do a skewed iron condor or something like that, you could do it that way. So, but pretty much that's it. I just want to do a review of the Thinkorswim tutorial, kind of how to use the option chain, all these little tips and tricks. Hopefully this helped you to be able to put trades on a lot easier for yourself and all that. If you guys have any questions, anything like that, leave them down below in the comments. But as always, thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll talk to you soon.